So yeah, I mean, there was a lot of moving parts, just sort of for those watching. There was Manchester Camerata, there was community content, quite a lot of it, which was photographs, poetry, artworks that were created, all sorts of kind of different kinds of creative content that responded to the theme. And then we had a main composer, Daniel Kidane, and a music creator who worked a lot within the digital realm, Ben, and then Roma, who was a spoken word poet. So, and the film. So that's quite a lot of moving parts. What was that process like for you of gathering all of that together into a film?
Well, that's it. My first contact on the project, really physical contact, was going to a meeting up in Manchester where you had some of those people present, plus some musicians and some creative musical consultants, if you like, I guess, that had kind of been helping you out with the project. And so we sat down and I was given a summary of kind of how some of the workshops were conducted in the community and how some of that content was recorded and documented, and given the sense of, you know, what you guys wanted to do in terms of using that community generated content as inspiration in the creative process to make the film. And of course that has at its heart lots of challenges when you've got creatives all with slightly different ideas about what's happening, and with community groups who might not see their influence in the finished piece in an obvious sense. In other words, you know, if a community group have created some content, that actual content might not make the final film, but the decisions for the visuals in the final film have been really influenced by that bit of content. And of course, only we know that as creatives. So there's lots of kind of pulling and pushing in terms of who, you know, the kind of ways forward that people want to go to. Having said that, the group I think they seemed really pleased to bring someone new in like me that was able just to kind of come in and go, right, you've been doing this so far. These are all these different views of how does it work for film, and can the film element be the glue that sticks all these pieces together? And I know there was a sense that film is a good media to be able to bring disparate ideas together and develop them. From the outset, because we had limited time with the camera rolling, we knew that we would be relatively limited in the edit because we only had enough time on location to shoot, you know, a version once or twice possibly of what we thought should be in that scene. Whereas when you shoot films normally, you might shoot it 10 times and you might use elements of each of those 10 takes, and you know, and so you've got lots of options. We knew we wouldn't have that in the edit. So from the very start, I asked Lee O'Connell, another director that works with us, to come in and co-direct it and to co-edit it with me as well. So we would both direct and we would edit. So we were very, you know, having that closeness to it meant that we could shoot to edit, is the phrase really. And then there was another really nice element that you took a lead on during the shoot, where we wanted a kind of different visual flavor to be across the film as well, which very much recognized the community work that had been undertaken. So filming projections of artworks and of phrases and words, all in a hyper stylized way, so that in the edit we could use that on top of some of the images and transition between some of the images with that. when you see the film, you'll see what I mean. It's, you know, it's the moments where there's an ethereal quality to the color, where there's sparks going off in the visuals, or where there's words that appear on screen, or where there's moments where there's water being projected or images being projected, not just people. So we knew that that element would be able to be a thread that ran through it. But in terms of approaching an edit of a 50-minute film with that, you do it scene at a time, and we treated it as if, you know, there was a piece of music. So we had a scene per piece of music, and we had almost interludes running between each scene, and the interludes would very much move away from the visual element of the film and really focus in on the community content and the words and the poetry. And Ben did a marvelous job of pulling those interlude audio tracks together, so that the film is permeated with these interludes that kind of just keep reminding you of where the film's coming from and where it's going to.